Did you hear him?
Okay, so, Mr. Bob, questions?
I don't, I have only one that was just recently brought up and what we talked about before, the handicapped access. We do have it downstairs. And, that's the only thing that I can see that deter this facility or this room over here.
How do you handle that now, Glenn? Would they have to go back downstairs, or how would they work?
Yeah, likely. If it's district court, they can handle it in a condo potentially.
Sorry, that's okay.
You guys are putting away every year for an elevator, right? So
Right.
it's kind of works, but it's, but yeah, the judge can need someone downstairs.
Would you have to fix that whole room then to be safe down there too? I mean, you're kind of really going, I guess that's why I was hoping there'd be a better way to fix it down there than have to do two of them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because I mean, even if you have a handicap, you know, say somebody comes in, what's the difference? I mean, they can go crazy
Yeah.
too.
I'm not a safety expert.
I ain't either, that's why I'm asking, would you have to put stuff up for it still down there? So why wouldn't we just do it down there, where she's already set up? Is there such thing as, can they do the videos like they do in the zoo, where they're not right in the judge's face?
Yeah, I mean, certainly you can do video arraignments. You know, I'm not so worried about, in my experience, when there's a deputy president, you know, when there's, you know, they've got them shackled, they don't let them out, you know. The issue is, somebody comes through the front door even, downstairs, gonna pay my fine, and wondering if the judge is gonna listen to my story. Nobody knows they're in the building, but they check in with the clerk and they go in and see her, and then the argument ensues, and there's a problem, and we don't even know about it. The sheriff's not here, this is not an in-custody person, this is a non-custody person. So, in other jurisdictions, you know, everybody has this problem, okay? But what they've tried to do is build a back way out for the judge if they can. They put armored desks, you know, if it gets really crap, she at least has a place to go. There's none of this that's gonna be 100%. There's nothing to prevent them from running back upstairs and taking it out on the clerk and recorder. I'm not gonna lie to you.
I'll be gone, so you won't have
I
to
don't
worry
know,
about it.
They might be invisible.
Okay, so,
You might be the one that got.
the issue is, it's an old building, it's hard to secure, okay? And one of the things we have done is we've trained all our people, and they did ask good questions, and I think they know, you know, they feel like, and we'll continue to train them. And this was a suggestion, I think we asked Rick, you know, when the office opened up, would this be a safer place? You know? So, go, did you have a Blanche, did you?
Could that be something where you might change, where Karen and Hoffman is?
Okay,
We
may I?
already got a,
Okay, go ahead. When you guys, when do I get to voice my opinion? Anytime?
So let's let Commissioner Adler for this. Go
I
ahead.
was just asking maybe if the thought of one where Karen and Ben are, where it's already got.
Well, yeah, and there's two doors there, one in, one out. And you did.
And you have access, handicap access.
It's, well, your handy gets ADA coming into the building from the basement door on the south side of the building. And the one thing about the ADA you mentioned is, okay, we are saving for an elevator, but if we start moving things around, we're not grandfathered, and that elevator thing might say, you have facilities downstairs that are ADA, but now you get them up, you get that elevator going, and we're saving for an elevator. And what costs $27,000 now is gonna cost $327 with an elevator. Okay, and there's things downstairs that you can do, and with your active shooter, I understand that completely, but you can also make, there's offices downstairs easier for the people to come in one door, out another door. It's available, you can do it. You're also not putting, we have daily businesses going on through through upstairs, and when you have the JP with prisoners going in and with people paying fines that are very disruptive in the foyer. But the ADA thing, I don't know if they can just jump on you and say, you've moved this, and so we know you were saving for an elevator, but you now have moved a specific office that has to.
I'm not aware of that, I can research.
Well, that's what I mean. I mean, you have a specific office that customers definitely have to go to.
So I don't know if we've ever thought about the downstairs, with Ben's office. I don't think we've even discussed that.
Well, that's the thing, you guys haven't discussed any of this, you've just decided that you're
No,
gonna.
we did not. That's what we're here for.
Well, you're making a decision today, that's what it said. It says on the agenda you're making a decision.
We don't have to make a decision.
Well, it shouldn't even be on the agenda that you're making a decision.
But we don't have to. But here's my, we can make a decision not to make a decision. We wanted the contractor to come in and tell us what the possibilities are. Now, for me, he didn't solve some things that I thought were critical. One of them is wait for the judge to get the hell out of there. Basically, we've locked the judge in on another floor in a corner, okay? A lot better, a lot nicer to work space, it's lighter, it's brighter, got that. But, so no, we don't have to make a decision today. And what we wanted, we didn't know what Doug was gonna say and how much it was gonna cost. If there's other better options, maybe Scott's a home one, you guys, I mean, maybe there is one. And then, so let's just carry that thought out. If we took over Ben's office downstairs, then would we move Ben upstairs?
Yeah,
Okay. So I mean maybe
you
that's
probably
a
wouldn't want to
possibility.
come upstairs.
That's an option.
That's a possibility, because I think ADA is a huge issue,
I think it is.
regardless. And I didn't really, I think it's a big issue.
And I want you guys to know I'm for safety, but I just think we need to look into it a little bit more than just because we got an open room. Let's look into this a little bit.
And when you make the comment that they're isolated in the basement, they're not isolated in the basement. There's 3 other offices that are down there. And what you work on is getting a buzzer that's gonna buzz everywhere and over to the sheriff's office.
I made that comment. What I meant was the judge is isolated because she can't get out of there when the threat's in front of her. Now, after we just went and took the tour, I think she's still isolated, just on a different
She
floor.
still is.
There is but everyone has the alarm, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, everybody is now.
Yeah, I mean, I think what I meant by isolation is that you back the judge in the corner and the threat's in front of her, and you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
She has no
She can
place to
scream
go.
maybe we won't hear it out there, but my point is, I'm not sure it solved it for me anyway. I think we've isolated her on a different floor. So let's talk about the other options. Anybody else got any thoughts? What do you think about Commissioner Adler's idea about maybe taking a look at that other office in the
I guess from my perspective, that office wasn't on the table, it wasn't something we
No,
looked
it
at.
It wasn't something we looked at,
But-
but it is a
Could be.
viable option.
If that's a possibility, and it may very well be able to work out better.
So can we have Doug go down and look at the judge and other folks here in the next while and see if maybe that's our option?
I don't see a reason why we couldn't take a look at it, we should, I agree.
Well, and that's the thing, that's why I'm sitting here, is because there wasn't any options discussed. It was, according to the agenda, you're going to make a decision on remodeling that assessor's office for the JP. And I know that you can't make a decision
Okay, so
unless
what
it's
it
been on
says,
the
Blanche,
agenda
is
twice.
Preliminary
No,
plans.
it's just one,
And decision.
just one.
Preliminary plans for moving the justice of the peace in the courthouse. That's what it said.
Discussion, decision.
All right.
It
So
was
maybe
meant to
our
be-
decision is we're not gonna move her up there, we can move her down.
Well, that's
there.
why I'm here.
But, thank you.
You're
But
welcome.
Let's not get we don't have to fight about it, just.
Who's fighting?
Okay,
I believe it was also on the agenda a while ago.
it was,
Pardon?
it was.
That's right. And you guys said, well, we're not doing anything, it's just a discussion. And good points were brought up last time. So now it's on the agenda again. And I have to agree with Blanche. It seems like you were making a decision.
What happened in between is that we got the opportunity to have a contractor take a look at it and give us some ideas about what it would cost. So that's always.
Well, to me, that seems like that's what the route you're going. You're not going through any other solutions. You're just basically saying that this is a good idea and we're going to check on what the cost will be. As far as I'm concerned, she's safer downstairs than she's up
I'm
here.
sorry, Elena, you're wrong. In my mind,
Excuse me, I'm not finished.
Well,
How many times
you're about
was
to.
she threatened downstairs or felt that she was threatened? How many times? Any?
There's been.
Well, actually, I don't think the judge has been threatened directly. But both of her previous clerks felt they were threatened with people that walked in the door and confronted them at their desk right away.
She also has a clerk now that would probably deck them.
Well, we'll leave that to be seen. But
We had two personalities before that were very fearful and felt like they were enclosed.
Well, I don't think that's the case, but
Well-
that's fine. You have your opinion. I have.
Well, that's
I have
it.
what I was
You
told.
want it up here, and then, but you didn't check the rest of the building. And you should have had Doug check the building to see for the door in and the door out. But instead, you decided that this is where it's gonna be, because that's where the justice of the peace wants it.
Blanche, no, I don't want us to get in an argument, but I
I'm
was
not, I'm
asked,
just
I was
stating
asked
facts.
asked to take a
He was-
look
he
if
was
this would
asked
be
by us.
helpful. So, if this would work. And
That's
so
what
we
we
took a
asked.
look at it and we presented that information. The idea was to get the information so that commissioners could see what it would actually be, have them decide whether they wanted us to move forward with the plan or not.
Right.
That's what we're here today. Do we want to move forward? That's my understanding with the
That's
plan
my
or not,
understanding.
based
on the information we're able to get.
We definitely want to move forward with the plan about, and excuse me if my voice raises when I'm discussing something. I tend to go 3, 7, maybe 10 octaves higher. I apologize if you think I'm arguing with you. I'm not. But I understand you're active shooter. I understand that completely, and I understand that where she's sitting and how she's sitting there definitely needs to be put better. And I also understand Doug should have been able to, maybe he should have looked down there and said, okay, can we get a counter, can we do this? We'll have a door in, a door out. We need 2 doors, that's what Debbie wants for sure. That's all I'm saying. I mean, and maybe it was written wrong on the agenda, but to me, it said, discussion, decision.
I don't think it was ever supposed to be a final decision, it was just gonna be a decision on what he's saying. And then I can see where that would be confused.
I'd like to make a motion.
As a matter of fact, you know, we asked Doug for a rough estimate, and that's what we got.
Yeah.
No, we asked him for it.
So, we asked you.
But I'd like to make a motion that we move ahead, which we should, but make other options, like look in the bid office and have Doug do it and compensate him for doing this stuff.
I have just a question. As the commissioners then can move people out of that office and to the other office?
County commissioners decide who and what offices people occupy the courthouse in statute.
Because there were options at one time discussed for where they were at,
Sure.
or where they're at here, but I think taking advantage of the move was probably part of the thought. But
Be assured, we're not moving anybody without, lots of discussion with the court, the sheriff, other occupants of the building, we want everybody to be as happy and safe as we can. That's why there's really I don't think there's an argument here. We have been discussing it before. It was on the agenda before, but we haven't moved ahead. And the decision was until we heard kind of what the contractor was going to, even if it was possible, right? So that's kind of what we did today. So there's a motion on the floor. Did you get the motion?
Yeah. You want to read it back?
Commissioner has moved to have Doug Graybill look at other options in the building and compensate him for his work.
Okay, and specifically, I think you're talking about
The Justice of the Peace office.
Justice Peace Office.
Looking into
Ben's.
Ben Hoffman's office is,
Okay.
county agent office.
And I'm saying, I'm going to give you a chance here. Is there a second to the motion?
I'm gonna second it.
Okay. Does everybody understand the motion? Okay. is there further comment on the motion, Mr. Hale?
Yeah, just a comment, guys. Have you had an expert or consultant come in who's informed about security measures and,
Yes.
in
Okay,
this building?
Yes, we did.
And where is that report?
Okay, so we brought in a Homeland Security trainer to do staff training with Homeland Security. We asked him, while you're here, take a tour, look around, help us out. We had staff come up and explain their issues. Justice Court is always, a hot spot, and the staff was very good about talking about how they felt. The judge was there. There were community members, but the expert said, you really ought to take a look and see what you can do with the Justice Court. Okay. We don't have any options then because, remember, revenue was there.
Right.
So that comes open and we went, aha, maybe there's an opportunity here. And Elena was right, it was on the agenda. And at that meeting, we decided that we would first get a hold of somebody like Doug to tell us what the cost or potential was, okay? So that's what we're here for now. Good discussion, maybe we should look a little further, and let's do that now on the rest of the building and see what the options are there. But yes, we have.
I mean, well,
Yeah.
Mr. Slaughter, all I'm asking is that, these guys that, again, having done this in other buildings and other companies, they come in and actually look at all the facilities and discuss not only reorganizing offices so that they can be more secure, but also recommending enclosures and whatnot for those specific people that need to be protected, and also security within the ingress and outgress of this building.
Yes.
And so that's what I'm really interested in.
That's
rather
what
than
we did that.
you did that.
Yeah.
Well, if
And
that's the
one
case,
of the recommendations he made was that's where Doug was talking about, armoring the desks for both the district judge and the other one. They asked us to upgrade our push-button panic system. We did that. Our DES director's been involved in this from the get and working with the sheriff and, court security and district court. So it doesn't mean we can't do it again. If
well, I'm
you
just
think it's-
concerned because I've
Yeah.
done this in other locations and it
Yep.
just seems a little bit loose.
As a former justice of the peace, I can say that I never had any security problems down there. Considering the number of people that come in there, it's a lot more than what you get in, say, a normal court. And so the access from the door over here for the handicap was really truly beneficial, because anytime we talked about having a case upstairs in the court, we had to make arrangements with the sheriff's department in order to physically carry people up to the third floor. And so I think having that handicapped access downstairs, considering the number of people that come to the JP court, I think it's a lot more advantageous to have the court downstairs than upstairs.
Well, could you actually,
Huh?
you mentioned that I just pictured, that other office that Becky was in there?
I'm sorry?
You know the office that Becky was in, and it borders right against that other one. Could there somewhere or another have a door going through there? One door into the.
Another issue, like I'd say counter than what Dick's saying, is here on the news about every 2 weeks there's a shooting, so the world's a different place here.
Well, that's what I'm just trying to other spots, but where you go down the end of the stairs and Becky's there, where her office is
Right next door to the judges.
But don't go down the hallway.
Okay,
with
so
that.
there's Becky's office, and then there's the Justice Court. Once upon a time, there wasn't a wall there, and it was Stubby, and they had theater chairs in there in case they had to hold court. So if you were gonna maybe make that bigger, there'd be a door going into that and a door going right into,
Well, you'd have a
you could do
hallway
that.
plus the door, you'd have a hallway where you're walking down there, and then you'd still have your.
You could go into that door, go into Justice Court, come out the other door. I mean, there's all kinds of
That way you would be
possibilities.
moving nobody out of nothing, because then we have a vacant office there, because that'd probably be shut down there.
So, do you think your motion kind of covers that? It's
Try to have him look at all the
all
options.
the options.
But I just brought it up so he can look, because right now, we're just kind of aiming him at the being hot and stuff. This way you can look at that other too, Doug. You know?
Would you like to meet with the Homeland Security guy again, or?
Well, I think it's pretty much gonna be up to us.
Well, we can't.
But he probably feels comfortable doing,
Yeah.
if you already tell him what you want, but I don't think he wants to be put in a position of saying what the.
Actually, we can ask the US Marshals, and they have a court security officer that does court security evaluations. It's free. We could ask the DES director to get a hold of US Marshals Service and send them over and have that discussion with us. But I think you're right. We have to point them as to where we want it for
There ain't
ADA.
no
and-
sense of getting nobody over here and telling them.
Exactly.
I
But,
mean, we're wasting their time, because right now, we don't have a clue here, there, or there.
but
There's three options.
once we had maybe a couple options in the basement, it might be good to have them come down and walk through and look
I
at all
agree.
our issues.
I agree with you.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
I
Okay,
agree.
so we're back on the
All of our
motion.
options.
We're back on the motion and further discussion about the motion.
Well,
Elena?
well, I don't know about the motion, but if it's one suggestion, I think it's good keeping it downstairs and looking at the options down there, but you'll still have a vacant room. And I think for the public, it would be nice if you have a conference room with all your board meetings, so we know it's gonna be upstairs, it's gonna be downstairs, it's gonna be someplace else. It'd be nice to have a conference room up here.
And to keep it, because here's the thing, we might, we have a plaque out on that we're a historical building. And I know Mike said that they worry about the outside. But the inside you gotta think about too, because this main floor was the clerk and recorder, the assessor, and the treasurer. The three main things that collected the revenue for Granite County. And so to keep the assessor's office, and then you could have, like, well, I used my election stuff in there, and you could have the commissioners go in there if they had bigger meetings that they couldn't, you know, it could be used for all kinds of things. Keeping it the way it is just what I'm saying, is because it is 100 years old, and it's been taken care of very well, and I just would hate to see it cut up and dissected, especially the main floor, because that was actually the hub of Granite County's tax, from recording to assessor to collector.
Well, I think we have a couple more options now to really look at and
Well, we
explore
have
our
there's
options.
three options now instead of.
I'd like to ask Rick, when you had the active shooter thing in there, when I talked to you about that, I think the second thing was find a place to hide. I noticed there's a vault in there, and there's several vaults. Is that part of the strategy, to use vaults?
It would be part of the strategy actually on the district court floor, but due to the way these are keyed down here, it's really hard. There's no way to get in and out of them if somebody's inside, so.
Yeah, you'd be stuck in that one because it's only one floor. There's no window to climb out of. Like mine, I can go downstairs and climb out the window.
We were hoping that actually you could do that from the inside, but they're all different, so it just didn't work.
We asked Rick to look into that, and that's an excellent, because there are vaults on all floors. And, you know, it's fight, hide, fight, run. And the hide part was both, you know, and so our issue right now, until we come up with something better, is how do you get him out? Yeah, you know what, if somebody's shooting at me, I'm gonna go and lock myself in, you can worry about getting me out later, but, see what I'm saying? So they have that option right now, they can go in, but I don't think they can lock from the insides.
Yeah, that's the problem, they can't lock from inside,
That's the issue right now.
except on one floor.
But it's all on the table.
Just one additional point. It's also, when the sheriff brought a prisoner over here, he would, at the very least, would be handcuffed. At times, some of them were injured, and again, it was much more beneficial to have access through that handicapped door downstairs.
Good points, Dick, absolutely. Other discussion on the motion?
Just have one question.
Yes.
Mr. Chair. If I understand the motion correctly, we can look at more than two locations down
And
there.
all the options.
Where they are.
Downstairs. And,
There was some discussion about making that room for voter pamphlets or regulations or
The what, justice of the
The
peace?
current justice of the peace.
Yeah,
at
I
one
said
time.
if you were gonna move them up there, I wanted it from my elections office. Because I'm scattered all over.
'Cause we had Doug look at that too. so.
Hmm?
We had Doug look at that too when he was here.
Yeah, you looked at that and you,
Yeah.
I take the wall out, and you said you couldn't really take the wall out.
But
Yeah.
at this time,
Leave most of it, yeah.
we're just,
Look at
That's not part
them,
of the
look on
business.
this side, and look on that side, Rick. And I appreciate your work on it, because you were told to go in that direction. and
Works for me.
Okay.
Well, thank you for, yeah, at least looking into it. I mean, sometimes the best thing you can do is propose something and have it, you know, just talk it down, it's fine. For me, it didn't solve the issue about how we get the judge out, okay, yet. Okay, and it's not your fault, it's just the way the building's designed. Other discussion on the motion? Okay, do you wanna read the motion, Matt? Go ahead.
Commissioner Atherton, have Doug Graybell look at other options in the building for the Justice of the Peace office, specifically the extension office, and compensate him for his work.
Okay.
And then that other
The
office.
extension office
Vet
and
office.
Becky's office.
And the vet office?
Yeah.
Vet office?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's even better because
You got more.
that gives her plenty of room
So
for,
mind amending your motion?
for a trial.
Who's gonna amend his motion to add that? Do you wanna amend your second?
Still have to take the wall down.
I would.
Okay. Motion's been amended and second's
Still coming
been
out.
amended. Any further discussion on the amendments of the motion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Thanks, everybody, for your comments.
Thank you.
I love you like a sister, we're not fighting here, it's just we're trying to figure out the best answer.
No, it's okay.
All right, thank you.
I get heated, you know that.
I know, it's okay. It's
I
good.
appreciate the stuff you're doing. though.
Thank you,
Don't
Doug.
think that we're trying to just hide
Thank
it
you.
out.
Thanks, Doug.
There's just other
I
options.
didn't mean any
Yeah.
offense.
We haven't really sat down and talked about it, so this was good.
Well, we didn't have the
Good.
information.
Very good.
No, we do, thank you very much for that. So, Rick, thanks, we'll move ahead.
Thanks, Doug.
Yep. U.S. Marshal Service, and I got absolutely nowhere.
Kurt Olney's the new AG, U.S. Attorney, I don't think like
Okay.
him.
Because that was a problem.
Let me know
we couldn't
when
actually-
you want him, though, and we'll wait until I hear from you, okay?
Okay,
Okay.
sounds good.
It's not on the agenda, I did bring you some numbers for your ambulance shed.
Oh, could you, yeah, we talked about this morning, could you bring those to us? It was on the agenda this morning.
There's,
Hey, hang on a second.
Do you have an extra copy of that? Thank you.
Yeah, he needs to take
Yeah,
it's got the
bring it back.
whole thing there, and then it's got another proposal
Judges, no.
of what I think
Should have been here this morning.
Yeah, shouldn't have.
behind what I suggest. I mean, some of it's just not necessary. I know, but whatever, you guys can look at it.
Well, you know what, Doug, we were talking about is insulation.
Yeah, installation's on there.
Yeah, but I mean,
Yeah, I see
right
that.
now, though, I mean, we, you know, it's gonna get cold, we're gonna be in trouble.
Yeah.
Well, they said there were, IV bags are gonna freeze and that, cause
Yeah.
all the heat's just
You
going
do a little
out.
bit of gas piping,
So a guy could probably, maybe
just a
just,
few little things, other than that, it's ready for installation.
Okay.
we need to know.
I see you got butte insulation, we'll try to get a hold of him and see if.
He was gonna come right over and do it. I
That's the
talked
same
to him
price
and then-
that,
Yeah, Matt, he would do whatever he called, but I don't think it's not quite ready.
Yeah.
There's a few little things that should be
Before
done,
insulation, okay.
just a few
But
little.
I mean, he was the quickest
Oh,
one. that
you
we
doing the
could-
contract?
Yeah, I use him for everything, he does a great job.
Well,
And
don't
that's,
waste time.
that's the
Like
same
that,
bid
it's
he
not
gave
gonna
you, I just have to forward it to me.
Thank you,
Yeah.
and we'll be getting back with you, Dick, or.
No, yeah, just
Doug.
look at it, let me know, what am I filling on here?
That's
For
for
your time.
hours.
I don't,
No, take it, because we're gonna have you downstairs. Just take it with you.
I don't need that.
Take it with you.
All right.
Thank you.
All right,
thank you.
thanks, see you guys.
You bet.